Hi, my name is Abahi and I am a claims adjuster. In today's video, let's talk about surety bonds and how to get the New Mexico adjuster's license. The combination of both of those will ensure that you have a better opportunity as a new adjuster to get work. If I can help you make money in this very lucrative industry, would you let me? Stay tuned. It's September 2020, and I know despite whatever is going on out there in the world, adjusters have been making bank. We've been getting deployment calls all across the country as the work that I do around the city of Atlanta in the state of Georgia has been going through the roof. I'm pretty sure people are at home looking around, seeing what damages they have. Not to mention people who are not essential are trying to find work that is essential. And guess what? I am essential. And it has only solidified my trust in Jesus and my trust in this career. That's how strong, like, the two of them are equal. Insurance, yes, and my imagination. Next, what I want to do though, for those of you who may be trying to study and not sure what the surety bond is, stay tuned to this video because we will go into that. But this video is really geared towards new adjusters who are trying to look for that secret sauce to make them a little bit different than everybody else who has the Texas license, New Mexico, and coastal licenses, which don't get actually called as much as other states, and especially out there on the West Coast, which is why I'm doing this video about New Mexico bonds. So let's get into it. Okay, first up, how to get the New Mexico license. To do it, you can take the New Mexico exam. You don't have to study, but in fact, I don't even think they have an exam. I think you could just apply for it, which is why it's not reciprocal with other states. If you live maybe in Arizona, even in Texas, Colorado, or California, especially if you live in California and don't have that 2,000 hours of experience or the 4 years of experience that they require in California, you should be looking towards getting that New Mexico license. It's only $30. It's only $30. So it's half the cost of, probably even a third of the cost is, like, I know Georgia is $115, so $30 is a lot less. However, you do need to get a bond, and a bond is a $10,000 bond. And that scares people because they're like, man, where am I going to get $10,000 to get this bond? But you need to remember your study sessions, because surety bonds is a topic that comes up on the claims adjuster exam. So a surety bond is an agreement between three people: the principal, the obligee, and the surety. The principal is the person who needs it. That's you adjusters out there in the world. You have to be the principal because somebody is requiring you to have this bond. The obligee is the person requiring you to have the bond. So this is the state of New Mexico. Maybe it's the state of Georgia if you're, or the state of New Jersey if you're getting a PA license, because you have to have a bond to be a PA. It's not, I don't think it's 10,000. It might be, it could be even more. But the good thing is that with the bond, you're protected. So if you break the rules or regulations and somebody wants to come after you in New Mexico or wherever you have a bond, they can go to the bond company or the surety company and make a claim against your bond and be paid out up to the amount of the cost of your bond. So essentially, a surety bond is just the type of insurance that somebody is forcing you to get that you have to pay for. I mean, it's almost kind of like your mortgage companies force you to have insurance on your home, but you just don't get your insurance from, you get it from an actual insurance company and not a surety company, which is where you would purchase your bond. Now let's get into the cost of bonds. Okay, before we get into the cost of bonds, let's talk about why you want it and why you need it. This, I guess in New Mexico, maybe they just want to make sure that if something happens to the residents, they have a way to get indemnified from maybe a mistake that you made as an adjuster. Maybe you were supposed to call out mitigation and you didn't. Maybe you were supposed to tarp the roof, or at least order for the roof to be tarped, but you didn't. Maybe you said something in the policy. Really, that's really where more like the errors and omissions. Remember that from your claims adjuster test, that's really where more it would come into play, that you told that customer something and they did something else and it cost them. So now they want to get it back from you, whatever that amount cost them. So it's really good to have one, even if you don't need it. And the best part about it is they don't cost that much. A $10,000 bond, which is what you need for New Mexico. So you got $30 for the license. Then the $10,000 bond, depending on your credit, because that's how it's played out, is going to be somewhere between 1 and 15%. So I have some numbers for you. If your credit is maybe over 680 and you need a $10,000 bond, you are going to be looking at paying about $100. If your credit is, let's say, 679 to 600, well, you're going to increase that cost a little bit, and you probably are going to be looking at paying about a $300 bond. And if your credit is between 599 or lower, there's lots of places out there to help you raise that credit first. And then second, you're probably going to be paying anywhere between $400 to $1,500 for that same $10,000 bond. And yes, the bond has to be in your name. It has to be your social security number. It has to be your credit, which is why it's very important when you go to the surety companies, and there's lots of them out there, that you check the different rates on how much it's going to cost and make sure they actually can offer the bond in the state that you need it. Again, a $10,000 bond can cost you as low as $100 or maybe as high as $1,500. But when you become an adjuster, you'll pay that off very quick. So let's look at the middle number, 300, right? Is that high? I don't know, because they last more than 1 year. Something else you didn't know: the length of a bond. It can be 1 year or it can be 2 years. In New York, to be an adjuster, you have to have a bond. In Pennsylvania, to be a public adjuster, you have to have a bond. The amounts may differ per state, but essentially you're going to be paying between $100 to $300 if you have decent credit. Bankruptcies will affect how much you pay as well, but you're going to be looking at paying either a 1 year or a 2 year bond, and they expire typically all at the same time. So make sure you check with the surety company so that you don't buy a bond, a year's worth of a bond, in November when it's just going to expire at the end of December. Just wait until January to get that bond renewed, and then you won't have to pay again. Otherwise you'll have to pay again, because some of them just end at a certain day and time. It doesn't matter if you bought it in September 2020. If it ends at the end of the year, it ends at the end of the year. So that's something to keep in mind too. Now, where do you go get your bond? Again, I mentioned several times, there are surety companies out there, and you can connect with them. They're going to request information from you that you just send in, but it doesn't take very long to get one. So I do recommend, if you did not get deployed this season when we had so many storms, tornadoes, tropical storms, hurricanes, hail, fires. If that was an issue for you getting deployed, you're a new adjuster, look into getting that New Mexico bond. How cool would it be to go work in New Mexico too? Think about the difference in materials that you would see, landscape that you would see. I went to Arizona with Metro Public Adjustment in December last year, and it was beautiful, just especially coming from the East Coast. It's an entirely different landscape. So when you go get your New Mexico bond and you want to work in you want to work as an adjuster, just keep in mind they may have different roofing tiles versus maybe what you would see in New York. Okay, so they're going to have different construction materials, building materials. Maybe they don't have drywall. Maybe they have a lot more brick in their home. I don't know. I've never been to New Mexico, but if you've been to New Mexico, please comment below and let us know what it's like there, what type of homes are there, so we can all kind of get clued in. Also too, while you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe, and that way you can get new videos from me, because I talk about everything new adjusters need to know. Don't forget to go to www.majoradjusters.com for more information about how to pass your test or how to get work after your license. That's what I do. My name is Abahi. I am a claims adjuster. If I can help you get money in this very lucrative industry, would you let me?